Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 61. Sorry, I refuse. Just when everyone's eyes fell on Xiao Chen, expecting the other party's answer, Xiao Chen refused without even thinking about it. Becoming an honorary elder of the Xian Chamber of Commerce will not restrict his freedom, but will also allow him to collect resources more advantageously. But if he joins Zhenin Palace, he will only get involved in power disputes. If he wanted to collect resources through the palace, he not only had to work hard to explain, but also beware of the covetousness of people from the palace. And the efficiency is far less than that of Xian Chamber of Commerce, and there is even a risk of being stabbed in the back. This would do him more harm than good. What's more, the Prince of Zhenin seems to be trying to win over him. But his attitude was still a bit condescending, and his tone of voice seemed to be giving alms. This attitude made him feel very uncomfortable. You refuse. After hearing Xiao Chen's answer, Yang Xiao narrowed his eyes slightly and asked in surprise. Brother Xiao, don't you know what the Zhenin Palace represents in the Great Qian dynasty? Nalan Shiji, the old man in gray and others on the side also looked at Xiao Chen in disbelief, obviously not expecting Xiao Chen to refuse. To know, the Zhenin Palace is within the Great Qian dynasty, but in addition to the Daqian royal family, Wanwaman, Fenyan Valley, and the Xian Chamber of Commerce, there are apex-level forces. There are several celestial human realm powerhouses in the palace, and one of them has reached the astonishing 8th level of celestial human realm. Even the Daqian royal family. We should also be wary of the Zhenin Palace, and even have to make concessions in some aspects. And Guangzhou. It is just one of the 18 states in the southern part of the Great Qian dynasty, even the top power in the desert state, Tai Sword Sect. When facing the Zhenin Palace, they could only follow the trend. I know, Zhenin Palace is one of the 5 apex-level forces in the Great Qian dynasty. However, I have always liked freedom and do not want to get involved in disputes. So, Xiao had no choice but to reject the prince's kindness. Xiao Chen just smiled faintly when he heard this, without any fear in his voice. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince invites you with good intentions, but you are so proud of yourself. Could it be that you look down on the Zhenin Palace? When Xiao Chen finished speaking, Nalan Shiji's eyes flashed and he suddenly stood up to Gong Huadao. Get off. Did I ask you to speak? As soon as Nalan Shiji finished speaking, Yang Xiao glanced at the other party with a cold gaze, instantly making Nalan Shiji turn pale with fright. Since Brother Xiao does what he wants, I will no longer force him. After reprimanding Nalan Shiji, Yang Xiao said to Xiao Chen with a slight smile. But acquaintance is fate. If Brother Xiao figures it out in the future, the door of our Zhenin Palace will be open for Brother Xiao at any time. As he said that, Yang Xiao suddenly looked at Murong Qingshe next to him. After carefully sizing him up, a scorching sun flashed in his eyes. This is Miss Murong from the Lord's Mansion of Tiandu City, right? I didn't expect that under Brother Xiao's treatment, he would transform into such an amazing person. While speaking, Yang Xiao walked up to Murong Qingshe and continued speaking in a voice as gentle as a spring breeze. Miss Murong, are you interested in joining our Zhenin Palace? If Miss Murong is willing, I can find a strong person from the celestial human realm to be a teacher for Miss Murong. I can even ask my father to deploy 1,000 black scale guards to help the Murong family guard Tiandu City and become the most powerful city lord's palace within a radius of thousands of miles. This woman, she has a face that is not weaker than Zi Luo's, and is very talented, but her background is a bit weaker. If she can be brought into the Zhenin Prince's mansion and she can be nurtured well in the future, she can also become his princess. However, due to the existence of Zi Luo, Yang Xiao did not dare to show his ambition, so he could only speak tactfully. After hearing Yang Xiao's words, everyone present was stunned. Unexpectedly, Yang Xiao failed to invite Xiao Chen to join, and instead turned to Murong Qingshe. Sorry, when Mr. Xiao cured Qingshe, Qingshe had already made up his mind to stay with Mr. Xiao. So Qingshe can only boldly refuse His Highness the Crown Prince's kindness. Seeing everyone's eyes falling on her instantly, Murong Qingshe was so nervous that her palms were sweating, but after taking a look at Xiao Chen, she finally plucked up the courage to speak. From the moment Xiao Chen pulled her out of the abyss, she could only live for Xiao Chen in this life. She will not be tempted by other men or other forces. Quote. After being rejected by Murong Qingshe, Yang Xiao narrowed his eyes slightly, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. But he didn't show it on his face, he just smiled and said with regret. That's a pity. I never expected that Brother Xiao's good fortune would be so strong that a stunning woman like Miss Murong would be willing to follow and serve him. But Brother Xiao is such a monster, he is worthy of Miss Murong's following. Hearing Yang Xiao's words that seemed to have special meaning, Xiao Chen couldn't help but frown, and looked at Yang Xiao warily. Yin and Yang are weird, there is a knife hidden in the smile, and there is a little bit of scheming. I didn't expect to meet such a hypocrite when I came to Xian Chamber of Commerce this time. It seems that this prince is a bit troublesome. Your Highness the Fifth Prince, I still have something to discuss with young Master Xiao. If you have nothing to do, please leave the VIP room first. Zi Luo, who was on the side, heard that Yang Xiao's words were getting more and more strange, and immediately frowned and ordered Yang Xiao to be kicked out. Ha ha ha, since Miss Ziluo said so, I don't want to continue to disturb you. After Miss Ziluo has finished her work, we will find time to have a good gathering. Yang Xiao didn't get angry when he heard this, he just waved his hands at the other people. Let's go. The group of people walked out of the VIP room of Xian Chamber of Commerce under the solemn gazes of Xiao Chen and Zi Luo. Mr. Xiao, it seems that you should be more careful in the future. This Yang Xiao may be trying to trick you secretly. Seeing a few people disappear around the corner, Zi Luo reminded them with a solemn voice. In her impression, Yang Xiao was a bit petty. Today, if Xiao Chen rejects the other party's kindness, he will definitely be secretly resented by the prince. Although Xiao Chen is now the honorary elder of Xian Chamber of Commerce, Yang Xiao does not dare to take action openly due to the reputation of Xian Chamber of Commerce. But 9 times out of 10, it will be done secretly. It doesn't matter. I won't offend anyone unless they offend me. If someone offends me, no matter what their identity or background is, they will pay a heavy price. Xiao Chen waved his hands when he heard this and said indifferently. If Yang Xiao secretly held a grudge and wanted to mess with him because he was rejected by him today, then he will definitely let the other party know how miserable it will be if he offends him. How about, Mr. Xiao lives in the Chamber of Commerce these days, so he can be taken care of even if anything happens. Zi Luo frowned when she heard this, but still felt a little worried. You must know that the guardian beside Yang Xiao has reached the 8th level of universal truth. Compared to the protector beside her, he was only a small level weaker. This kind of existence, within Tiandu City, it is almost invincible. If the other party wants to attack Xiao Chen secretly, then Xiao Chen is likely to encounter a life and death crisis. After all, in the past few years, many people who offended Yang Xiao disappeared like this. Chapter 62. That's fine. After a moment of silence, Xiao Chen agreed. Qian is in seclusion in the City Lord's palace refining the purple pill of resurrection. There is no way she can get out smoothly without 2 or 3 days. Staying in the Xian Chamber of Commerce these days can indeed avoid a lot of trouble. Moreover, after getting the supplies from Zi Luo, a flash of inspiration suddenly flashed in his mind, and he had an idea that he needed to verify. Since Mr. Xiao is staying, why don't Miss Qingshe stay too? I think something was wrong with Yang Xiao just now. Hearing that Xiao Chen did not refuse, Zi Luo looked at Murong Qingshe. As the eldest lady of the Xian Chamber of Commerce, she was used to too much intrigue. If Yang Xiao wanted to cause trouble in secret, he would be smarter and not attack Xiao Chen directly. Instead, he will use the people around Xiao Chen to indirectly teach Xiao Chen a lesson. Therefore, keeping Murong Qingshe here can prevent this kind of thing from happening to a certain extent. Murong Qingshe was also a smart person and did not refuse Zi Luo's proposal. Just ask Zi Luo to send someone to inform the City Lord's palace so that Murong Fu and Murong Bo can know the truth. After a brief conversation, Xiao Chen did not stay here and immediately returned to his private room. The other side. After Yang Xiao left the Xian Chamber of Commerce, his face instantly became extremely gloomy. The cold air that spread over his body made Nalan Shiji shiver and he quickly stayed away from the prince. The person named Xiao is very good. Recalling what happened just now, Yang Xiao's eyes flashed with cold light. An 18-year-old young man. Not only is he more handsome than him, but Martial Dao is even more talented than him. Even at a young age, he can become an honorary elder of the Xian Chamber of Commerce, which even surpasses him in terms of status. And when he lowered his face and extended the invitation, the guy refused without even thinking. As the crown prince of Zhenin Palace, no young man has ever dared to deny him face like this. The most important is, Zi Luo looked extremely nervous and concerned about this boy named Xiao. If you don't know, I thought this kid was the other party's concubine. As all kinds of thoughts flashed through his mind, Yang Xiao's expression became colder and colder, and there was even a flash of killing intent in his eyes. Your Majesty, do you need me to take action? After feeling the murderous intention in Yang Xiao, the taciturn old man on the side said in a hoarse voice. Need not. Yang Xiao shook his head when he heard this and said in a low voice. Since Zi Luo values this boy very much, she will definitely do everything possible to protect him. What's more, this kid's current identity is still the honorary elder of Xian Chamber of Commerce. If we kill this kid, he will be noticed once we leave traces. The Xian Chamber of Commerce and the Zhenin Prince's palace are bound to have a stalemate, and it will no longer be possible for me to get Ziluo. As he spoke, Yang Xiao's eyes flickered and a sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. First check the information about this person named Xiao, and then we will wait for someone to arrive. He couldn't do anything to Xiao Chen directly, but he could use other people to attack him. As the saying goes, two dogs fight, play off. Only stupid people would think of killing people by themselves, while smart people would usually kill people with the help of others. His Royal Highness is wise. Nolan Shiji on the side immediately flattered Yang Xiao after hearing what he said. Then he asked a little cautiously, Your Highness, I wonder who the person we are waiting for is the best. With the current identity and status of the person named Xiao, most people would not have the guts to provoke this guy. Only some people from apex-level forces have the confidence not to be afraid of the Xian Chamber of Commerce. Fire Flame Valley, Duan Haoming. After hearing Nolan Shiji's question, Yang Xiao's mouth showed a hint of seriousness, and he spoke in a low voice. What, does His Majesty want to? Nolan Shiji raised his head when he heard this and looked at Yang Xiao in shock. Burning Flame Valley. This is another apex-level force in the Great Qian dynasty, and there are also several celestial human realm powerhouses in the valley. As for Duan Haoming, he has also heard of this name. Of course, it's not that this guy is so awesome, his reputation is enough to resound throughout the Great Qian dynasty. But the other party is a horny and thirsty ghost. Relying on the fact that he is the son of the owner of the Burning Flame Valley, he will do everything possible to get the beauty he likes. Even many female disciples from first-rate forces have been harmed by Duan Haoming. However, these forces did not dare to fight against Fenyan Valley, and they could only settle down after the incident. Unexpectedly, the person Yang Xiao wanted to use this time would be the young master of Fenyan Valley. Could it be that the bait used to lure the other party was Murong Qingshe? What, you have an opinion? Seeing Nolan Shiji making a fuss, Yang Xiao narrowed his eyes slightly and stared at him dangerously. Shiji doesn't dare. Nolan Shiji's expression changed when he heard this, and he quickly shook his head and replied. Murong Qingshe rejected his proposal of marriage and followed Xiao Chen shamelessly. This made him feel great shame. But no matter what, Murong Qingshe was the woman he wanted to get, and now Yang Xiao actually wanted to use her as bait. This made him feel very uncomfortable psychologically. If Duan Haoming is really involved in the future, he won't be able to get Murong Qingshe. Damn it, it seems that we can only wait until Duan Haoming is done having fun first, and then look for a chance to see if he can get in there. Feeling extremely unwilling in his heart, Nolan Shiji thought viciously. No matter if you go first or last. Anyway, as long as he can wash away his shame and vent his long pent-up anger, he will be able to have clear thoughts along the way. Take that. I will keep an eye on the Xian Chamber of Commerce. If there is any trouble, remember to report it to me immediately. When Nolan Shiji was feeling dark and twisted in his heart, Yang Xiao glanced at the building behind him and said to the former in a cold voice. After saying that, Yang Xiao left the Chamber of Commerce without staying. In the wing room, when Yang Xiao and others were planning, Xiao Chen took out the ring given by Zi Luo and gave the recycling order without any hesitation. Ding! The system has recovered all the resources and items in the ring. Congratulations to the host for gaining 514,864 points. Hey, with more than 510,000 points, it's really like reaching the sky in one step. When Xiao Chen heard the system beep, he immediately took a deep breath. The points soared so fast. If he could get a few more batches of resources from the Xian Chamber of Commerce, it would be easy for him to help Kayan upgrade her bloodline. Including the more than 80,000 points I have left before, the points should now exceed 600,000. Remembering that he still had a balance left before, Xiao Chen immediately opened the Properties panel. Host: Xiao Chen. Physique: Innate Dao Body. Cultivation: 3rd level of Xuandan. Kung Fu: the technique of creating the universe. Divine Ability: Heavenly Demon Shadowless Step, Great Wild True Dragon Fist, 5 Elements Heaven Shaking Seal, 9-turn Golden Body Cover. Points: 608,364. The points have indeed exceeded the 600,000 mark. The background of this top force is indeed terrifying. Looking at the current points value, Xiao Chen couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Just these 2 transactions, it can provide him with nearly 1 million points, and it has not completely squeezed out all resources. If he could integrate all the waste resources of Xian Chamber of Commerce, I'm afraid his points could easily break through the millions mark. We can only take our time. You can't eat a fat man in one bite, so you should digest these points first and turn them into your own strength. At this time, thinking of some things that he had ignored in the past, Xiao Chen couldn't wait to ask the system. Chapter 63. System: since I can upgrade the martial Dao talent, can I also upgrade my own cultivation, or upgrade my physical strength? As he asked this question, Xiao Chen became a little nervous. Just transmigrate here. What she has been thinking about is collecting resources to redeem points, and then helping Kayan hide her identity and restore her cultivation. He even helped Kayan upgrade his bloodline, giving him hope of breaking through to the Saint Realm. This will allow you to have one more powerful Saint Realm guardian. Under this psychological influence, he ignored some details of himself, and only then did he realize it. If he could upgrade his cultivation and physical body, his strength would undergo an earth-shaking transformation. Ding! The upgrade function can only upgrade the quality of the target object, which means it will undergo a certain level of transformation. There is no way to directly enhance the strength of the upgraded item. When Xiao Chen was looking forward to it, the system's mechanical answer made Xiao Chen feel cold. Sure enough, it doesn't work. He also thought that he could upgrade and strengthen his physical body, so that his strength would increase by leaps and bounds. Directly strengthen his body to heavenly rank supreme grade, and he will instantly have the strength to rival the celestial human realm. Unfortunately, upgrading is not strengthening, so this method doesn't work. Ding! Although the upgrade function cannot directly strengthen the physical body, it can also be used to assist the host in improving its own cultivation. For example, the host can upgrade the quality of the true essence, or the quality of its own soul body. When Xiao Chen felt depressed, the system suddenly reminded him. Yes, upgrading the quality of your true energy and soul body can also improve your strength to a great extent. Xiao Chen's eyes instantly lit up when he heard this. He was so eager for success that he ignored the fundamentals. After upgrading the quality of his true essence, he can completely crush others at the same level. And upgrading the soul quality. Not only can he possess super strong soul perception, but he can also possess a monster understanding that is far beyond ordinary people, and can easily control his own surge in power. These are all great ways to transform his strength. When the thought falls, Xiao Chen raised his hand to condense a ball of true energy, and the 5 colors of light flickered on and off, looking a bit dreamlike. This is the 5 elements true essence condensed after practicing the art of creating the universe. The art of creating the universe has 3 stages, namely the 5 elements chapter, the yin-yang chapter, and the creation chapter. Only when the quality of the true essence changes and my cultivation reaches the corresponding level, can I practice other subsequent chapters. Looking at the ball of 5 elements true yuan in front of him, Xiao Chen couldn't help but his eyes flickered. He has been practicing for less than 10 days. Although with the help of external forces, his cultivation has now reached the 3rd level of Xuandan. But because the cultivation level improved too quickly, there was no certain accumulation. The quality of his 5 elements true essence is now only a low-grade profound rank. Even if he practices emperor-level skills, he does not have a lot of time to condense his true energy, and the quality of his true energy is not much better than others. If the quality of my true energy can be improved to heavenly rank supreme grade, I'm afraid I can crush anyone in the same realm. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen felt excited and immediately ordered the system. System, upgrade the quality of my true essence to heavenly rank supreme grade. Ding. The system has deducted 38,000 points and is upgrading the quality of the host's true essence. As the system prompt tone fell, a burst of white light shone. The 5 elements of essence in Xiao Chen's body also violently rioted at this moment. The 5 elements of light seemed to contain the universe, illuminating the entire wing like a dream. The true essence in Xiao Chen's body suddenly shrank sharply, and the true essence continued to condense and transform. In just a short moment, the quality transformed from profound rank to heavenly rank supreme grade. This function of the system is really abnormal. Feeling that the true energy in his body had shrunk by nearly half, Xiao Chen's face showed a look of shock. According to his normal cultivation, if the 5 elements true yuan were to be promoted to heavenly rank supreme grade, it would not be possible within a few years. But now that he can use the system function, he only needs to spend more than 30,000 points to enjoy it in advance. Sure enough, it's that simple to open up a cultivating life and increase your strength. Although my true essence has shrunk by nearly half, my strength has doubled. Feeling the 5 elements true essence that was far more powerful than before, Xiao Chen's eyes showed a bright light. If his true essence quality before was a wooden rod, now it has transcended the stone rod and transformed directly into an iron rod. The same ray of true energy. The combat effectiveness that can be exerted is completely different from before. Next, first improve the quality of your soul, and then calm down and restore your cultivation. Feeling a feeling of deficit in his dantian, Xiao Chen did not choose to recover immediately, but issued another upgrade command to the system. System, upgrade the quality of my soul body to heavenly rank supreme grade. Ding. The system has deducted 29,000 points and is upgrading the quality of the host's soul body. Perhaps it's because of the transmigrate, the soul of the original owner of integrated union. The quality of his soul body is a little better than that of ordinary people. Therefore, upgrading to heavenly rank supreme grade requires fewer points. Ding. Congratulations to the host for accidentally triggering a 10,000-fold blessing explosion rate. The quality of the soul body has been upgraded to supreme grade. The soul body has successfully transformed into a Bodhi enlightenment soul. Boom. As the system prompt tone suddenly fell, Xiao Chen felt a roar in his mind, and his whole body was like an astral projection of his soul. He was actually observing the changes in this world from a very strange perspective. And his sea of consciousness was expanding crazily at this time, and his soul power was soaring like crazy. Even as Xiao Chen entered the state of enlightenment, the surrounding spiritual energy gathered crazily. The 5 elements true essence in his body, which had shrunk in half due to the quality transformation, also condensed and soared crazily at this moment. Cultivation is as simple as drinking water. The 4th level of Xuanden. The 5th level of Xuanden. In less than half a day, Xiao Chen's cultivation level has broken through from the 3rd level of Zondan to the 6th level of Zondan, and he has no intention of stopping. Although the speed of breakthrough has gradually slowed down, this breakthrough is still ongoing. Time comes the next day. When Xiao Chen fell into an epiphany and breakthrough, Tianducheng gradually became boiling. A lot of news was released with the auction of Xi'an Chamber of Commerce. It is claimed that the items in this auction include not only various rare treasures, but also rare supreme grade elixirs. Among them were the Xuanqing Snow Lotus Pill and the Resurrection Purple Pill, which not only shocked the entire Guangzhou, but also other regions. The 5 major apex-level forces of Great Qian Dynasty all sent people here in unison. Inside Tiandu City, strong men from big forces could be seen everywhere, and several conflicts even broke out, which gave Murong Fu a headache. Fortunately, after refining the Soul Resurrection Purple Pill, Murong Bo finally returned to the 2nd level of Universal Truth. After leaving customs, with that powerful cultivation level, he can still suppress some young people. And as Murong Bo came out of seclusion, he also showed his cultivation level. Some practitioners in Tiandu City who knew Murong Bo felt unprecedented shock in the past 2 days. Out of curiosity, one by one began to inquire about Marongbo. After all, Marongbo was once a strong man in the universal truth realm, but he became a cripple due to an accident. This is something almost everyone knows in Tiandu City. But now the opponent has not only recovered from his injuries, but his cultivation has also returned to the second level of universal truth. This inevitably makes people curious. So, with the help of some witnesses and interested people that day, things about Xiao Chen and the Marong family also began to spread in Tiandu City. Chapter 64. Zaixianju. The famous tea house in Tiandu City has a variety of new and old teas. The old tea is warm and fragrant, with a silky and mellow taste. Although the sales are not comparable to some new teas, but the charm that takes years to brew is still liked by many people. Although the first taste of new tea will be a bit green and astringent, but with its good presentation and endless aftertaste, many people linger over it. At the same time, in the Tianzihao wing of Zaixianju, ha ha ha, so cool. He held two charming women on his left and right, and watched one washing chopsticks. Feeling the unique gongfu tea of Zaixianju, Duan Haoming shuddered and said with a wild smile, Yang Xiao, this feels really good, do you really don't want to vent your anger? After saying that, Duan Haoming tasted the tea greedily like an addict again. It's just some vulgar food. You really are not picky about food. Yang Xiao glanced at the unsightly scene in front of him, and spoke with a slight disdain, and there was even a flash of disgust in his eyes. The women in these tea houses, although there are many very good-looking ones, they are all rotten losers. As the eldest son of Zhenin Palace, he is not so hungry. Ha ha ha, a jade arm can be used as a pillow for thousands of people, and a touch of red lips can be tasted by thousands of people. Sometimes just going with the flow can make you laugh at life. Duan Haoming didn't care at all when he heard this. After laughing loudly, he took another big mouthful like a wild boar eating cabbage. Yang Xiao's head was covered with black lines. Nalan Shiji on the side looked suddenly enlightened. There are even some who are ready to move and seem to want to go up and have a chat. Savor the various aspects of life, walk the twists and turns that others have walked, and experience the warmth that others have had. It seems that there is really a different life experience. It is rumored that Fenyan Valley practices the most yang and strong fire attribute skills. As the level of cultivation increases, the yang energy in the body becomes more restless and fire attribute toxins are formed. If you don't have sex with women regularly, the fire poison in your body will burn your heart and make the practitioner feel unbearable pain. In the past, I thought it was just a rumor, but now that Brother Duan is like this, it really is true. Looking at Duan Haoming's ugly appearance, Yang Xiao suddenly smiled lightly. After saying these words, Duan Haoming immediately moved his hands, raised his head and stared at Yang Xiao unkindly. What do you mean? The core skills of Burning Flame Valley are the same as those of 10,000 Flowers Valley, which are all derived from an incomplete saint rank skill. Although through the efforts of several generations, the technique has been improved a lot. But there are still some sequelae. These are not secrets in the Great Qian dynasty, but saying them in front of him is a bit provocative. Brother Duan, don't get me wrong. Seeing Duan Haoming's unkind look, Yang Xiao immediately smiled and explained. My prince is just thinking that since the Burning Flame Valley technique has sequelae, it will leave fire poison in the cultivator's body. And it takes the help of a woman's yin qi to suppress this special fire poison. Brother Duan, why don't you find a woman with body of pure yin? The nourishing effect is much stronger than these women. After saying this, Yang Xiao took a sip of tea, and a strange look flashed in his eyes. The topic has been opened and it's time to prepare for the trap. HMPH, do you think the woman with body of pure yin is just a cabbage that can be picked up on the roadside? Except for Wanwaman, how many women with this special physique can you see elsewhere? Hearing Yang Xiao's stupid question, Duan Haoming couldn't help but snorted. For Burning Flame Valley, women with body of pure yin really make them covetous. But there are too few such women. As far as they know, Wanwa only has a few. As for other places, trying to find a woman with body of pure yin among millions of people is no different from finding a heavenly ranked supreme grade spirit medicine among hundreds of thousands of people. That's why Fenyangu covets women from Wanwaman very much, but Wanwaman is also very special because of its skills. After practicing, not only will your hair become gray, but the relationship between men and women will also become cold. This also leads to the 10,000 Flowers Gate. Regardless of whether it is the sect leader, the elders, or the many female disciples, they basically do not have companions. It is almost more difficult for them in Fenyan Valley to obtain the women of Wanwaman than to break through to the celestial human realm. What you said, could it be that you want to encourage this young master to rob the woman from Wanwaman? During the turning of thoughts, Duan Haoming seemed to have thought of something, staring at the other party with rather unkind eyes. Once upon a time, a high-ranking figure in the Burning Flame Valley had a bad idea and captured a body of pure yin from the Wanwa sect as a furnace tonic. It didn't take long for things to come to light. This led to a tragic battle between Burning Flame Valley and Wanwaman, which shocked the entire Great Qian dynasty. Could it be that His Highness the Crown Prince wants to use him to make the two top forces fight again so that the Zhenin Palace can benefit from it? Brother Duan misunderstood. We have known each other for such a long time. It is not an exaggeration to say that we are like brothers. How could I encourage you to do such a thing? It's just that I happened to meet a body of pure yin yesterday when I was at Xian Chamber of Commerce. Yang Xiao smiled lightly and waved his hand when he heard this, and replied with a spring breeze in his voice. Have you met those girls from Wanwaman? Yang Xiao had just finished speaking, and Duan Haoming said without interest. If it was a group of girls from Wanwaman, it would be normal for body of pure yin to appear. No, she is the daughter of the Lord of Tiandu City, not the group of white-haired girls from Wanwaman. Yang Xiao shook his head when he heard this, and said in a meaningful voice. Tiandu City Lord's Mansion. Hearing Yang Xiao's words, Duan Haoming's eyes suddenly lit up and he stared at Yang Xiao fiercely. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Are you really not a girl from Wanwaman? Absolutely true. Seeing that Duan Haoming was about to take the bait, Yang Xiao raised the corners of his mouth. Actually, the daughter of the city lord's palace was originally this boy's fiancée, but she encountered some changes along the way. With that said, Yang Xiao roughly told Duan Haoming about Marong Qingshe. You mean, after Marong Qingshe was cured, in order to please the young master who treated her, she not only forcibly broke off the engagement with this boy, but also shamelessly tried to turn against him. Hearing Yang Xiao say these things, Duan Haoming frowned slightly and glanced at Nalan Shiji. So you want me, young master, to help this kid vent his anger? As the eldest son of Zhenin Palace, if you want to help your younger brother vent his anger, will you need to trouble him? Is there any ulterior purpose? Brother Duan, it's not that you don't know. My prince is pursuing Miss Zi Luo, and the young master who cured Marong Qingshe seems to have an unusual relationship with the Xian Chamber of Commerce. If I weren't worried about upsetting Zi Luo, why would I bother Brother Duan to take action? After Yang Xiao finished speaking, he took a sip of tea. Seeing that Duan Haoming still had doubts, he could only sigh and continue. But the daughter of the city lord's palace is really the supreme grade. If this prince hadn't wanted to pursue Zi Luo, I would have wanted to tame her and make her my concubine. Ha ha ha, I really thought that this young master couldn't see your thoughts. Do you want to use this young master as a gunman so that you can teach that so-called young master a lesson? Hearing Yang Xiao say this, Duan Haoming seemed to have figured something out. He immediately exposed Yang Xiao with a sneer, causing the other party's expression to stiffen slightly. Chapter 65. Ha ha ha, Brother Duan really has a sharp eye and can actually see this. After his eyes flickered slightly, Yang Xiao did not object at this time. Instead, he smiled somewhat self-deprecatingly. When I saw that boy today, he has a close relationship with Miss Ziluo, I couldn't hold my breath in my heart. But my prince cares about Miss Ziluo, so I can't offend Miss Ziluo. I can't find an opportunity to teach this kid a lesson. So when I mentioned this to Brother Duan today, I did have some selfish motives in it. Seeing that Duan Haoming was not easy to fool, Yang Xiao could only turn to his heart. As he spoke, a look of decadence appeared on his face, and he seemed a little unwilling. My prince is sincere towards Miss Ziluo, but she only cares about a boy from the mountains. This makes me feel very unwilling. After speaking, Yang Xiao took a sip of tea, as if he wanted to use tea instead of wine to release the accumulated anger in his heart. That boy, is he really from the mountains? Duan Haoming narrowed his eyes slightly when he heard this, and asked with some meaningful words. Although he is lustful and somewhat arrogant, but he is not a brainless second-generation ancestor. If he were just a mountain savage, how could he be so fearful as the heir apparent of Zhenin Palace that he would not dare to take action? Instead, he tried his best to drag him, the young master of Burning Flame Valley, into the water. This undoubtedly reflects a message that Yang Xiao is a little afraid of that boy. Well, before I clean up Brother Duan's fate, I asked someone to investigate. There is no information about this person among the forces that can be ranked in the Great Qian dynasty. I only know that there is a woman in red accompanying this boy, who is a strong man from the Universal Truth Realm. I think he must be a mountain boy who was lucky and got some kind of inheritance. Yang Xiao nodded when he heard this, without any concealment. After all, there are top forces behind them, and even their father is a celestial human realm powerhouse. A strong man of Universal Truth Realm. In the eyes of people like them, there is no threat at all. If that's the case, this young master can help you test the depth of this boy. Of course, you have to perform well afterwards. After a moment of silence, Duan Haoming said to Yang Xiao with twinkling eyes, look between his eyebrows. As long as Brother Duan can help me vent my anger, I will definitely satisfy you in the future. Yang Xiao smiled lightly and replied. But when his eyes were lowered, a cold light flashed deep in his eyes. Ha ha ha, it's better to choose the right day than to hit the sun. Now, I, the young master, will go and see this little girl with the body of pure yin. After hearing Yang Xiao's answer, Duan Haoming laughed immediately, then pushed the woman beside him, stood up and walked out of the room. Now we know that there is a stunning beauty from body of pure yin, and she is not the girls from Wanwaman. If he doesn't help the other party bloom the buds, he will not be worthy of his title of Run to Jushi. Yang Xiao and others' eyes flickered, and then they all walked out of Zhexianju. No matter what, even though this process was a bit frustrating, Duan Haoming saw through his thoughts. But as long as this kid goes to find Murong Qingshe, he will conflict with Xiao Chen no matter what. His goal has been achieved. Xian Chamber of Commerce Hall. Is Mr. Xiao still out of seclusion? Cloud Mountain saw Murong Qingshe coming out for air, and immediately walked over and asked with a smile. The auction will be held tomorrow, but Xiao Chen is in retreat at this time. It made him feel a little surprised. No, the young master should be in seclusion to break through the cultivation level. He is almost out of seclusion. Murong Qingshe shook her head when she heard this. Xiao Chen is very interested in this auction, and he will definitely not miss the auction because of the retreat, unless something unexpected happens to the other party during the retreat. Since Mr. Xiao is sensible, I won't disturb him. Cloud Mountain stroked his beard when he heard this, and then said in a serious voice as if he thought of something. Miss Qingshe, there have been a lot of dandy brothers coming to Tiandu City in the past 2 days. If you have nothing to do, it's better to show less face. Murong Qingshe was extremely beautiful and even had a certain pure yin physique. For some strong people, this is undoubtedly the supreme grade dual cultivation cauldron. The tricky thing is, although Murong Qingshe has a certain financial background, it is nothing to the apex level forces. So if someone from the apex level force or some young masters were to target him, Murong Qingshe would be in a lot of trouble. Old man, the dandy boy you are talking about. Are you talking about this young master? Just as Cloud Mountain finished speaking, a burst of wild laughter suddenly came from behind, causing Cloud Mountain to frown. How dare you call him an old man in the hall of Xian Chamber of Commerce? This guy is no ordinary madman. Hiss, this guy is. When his face turned ugly, Cloud Mountain also turned around and looked at the person. However, after seeing the other party's appearance and the flame suit, Cloud Mountain's expression instantly changed. If he read correctly, this should be the youngest son of Duan Yantian, the master of Fenyan Valley. Duan Haoming, a person who is as lustful as life and behaves arrogantly and domineeringly. Relying on the fact that he is the son of the owner of Burning Flame Valley, he has raped young girls in many places. Unexpectedly, Fenyan Valley would send this guy here this time. Now Murong Qingshe was in trouble. Ha ha ha, it turns out to be Mr. Duan from Burning Flame Valley. I'm sorry that I'm so far away. I hope you can forgive me. After his eyes flickered, Cloud Mountain immediately laughed. Then he used his true energy to transmit his voice and said to Murong Qingshe, "Don't look at him, get in quickly." Now, he could only divert the other party's attention, hoping to make Murong Qingshe leave first. When Murong Qingshe heard the words, she understood immediately, turned around and walked towards the Chamber of Commerce. "Wait a minute, does this young master let you go?" Seeing Murong Qingshe turn around and leave, Duan Haoming's eyes showed a hint of teasing. The figure swayed slightly and turned into an afterimage, immediately appearing in front of Murong Qingshe. His talent is only Earth rank supreme grade, which is not that amazing among the younger generation of Apex level forces. But under the training of Fenyan Valley, still at the age of 25, he successfully broke through to the 5th level of Xuandan. At this distance, it is very easy to stop someone. "This young master, we are strangers to each other, please get out of the way." Looking at Duan Haoming appearing in front of him, Murong Qingshe forced himself to calm down and spoke in a cold voice. "Ha ha ha, we really didn't know each other before, but don't we know each other from now on?" Duan Haoming couldn't help laughing wildly when he heard this and stared at Murong Qingshe with burning eyes. It is indeed a body of pure yin, and they seemed to be much more advanced than the women he had seen at Wanwaman. Just smelling the pure yin aura emanating from Murong Qingshui's body could make the energy and blood all over his body become as manic as a wild beast. This woman is definitely a supreme grade. If you can get the opponent's primordial yin, not only can the fire poison in his body be purified, but his cultivation level can also improve by leaps and bounds. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 66. Master, please respect yourself. Seeing Duan Haoming staring at her like a hungry wolf, Murong Qingshui's expression became even colder, and after a reminder, she wanted to leave again. Mr. Xiao is still in seclusion now. She can't cause trouble here and must get out as soon as possible. "Miss Murong, after all, I am also the young master of Burning Flame Valley. Doesn't it seem bad that you are so disrespectful?" Seeing that Murong Qingshe wanted to leave again, Duan Haoming sneered in a serious voice. "Young master of Burning Flame Valley." Hearing Duan Haoming reveal his identity and background, Murong Qingshui's body suddenly stiffened, and his face turned pale. Burning Flame Valley. She often heard her grandfather and father mention that this was one of the 5 Apex-level forces in the Great Qian dynasty, and its power base was enough to easily destroy the entire Tiandu city. And because they have practiced some kind of incomplete fire attribute holy art, every strong man in Burning Flame Valley is a lustful person. He has an indescribable possessiveness towards the woman who possesses extreme yin physique. She didn't expect that the man who had thoughts about her would be one of the young masters of Fenyan Valley. What should I do now? After knowing Duan Haoming's identity, Murong Qingshui's heart sank to the bottom. She has the body of Taiyan Xuanxiao, and she has a fatal attraction to the people of Burning Flame Valley. No wonder the way this guy looked at her was so hot that it was hard to look directly at her. "Ha ha ha, Mr. Duan, I'm really sorry. Miss Murong was invited by Our Lady. She said she has something important to discuss. Our Lady should be waiting impatiently now. If you have anything to do with Miss Murong, let's talk about it after she comes out." Just when Murong Qingshe couldn't help clenching her fists and thinking about how to escape, Cloud Mountain's voice came from behind again. This made her eyes light up instantly, and she immediately understood what Cloud Mountain meant. Duan Haoming's identity is very different. The only person who can protect her now is the eldest lady Zi Luo. When the thought falls, Murong Qingshe said nothing and walked towards the depths of the Chamber of Commerce again. "Old guy, you have come to interfere with my young master's actions once or twice. Do you really think that because you are from the Xian Chamber of Commerce, my young master will take action?" Seeing Murong Qingshe trying to bypass him and entering the Chamber of Commerce, Duan Haoming snorted with a gloomy expression. Immediately afterwards, an old man in red appeared strangely around him, causing Cloud Mountain's pupils to shrink violently at this moment. "Universal Truth Realm Strong Man. If you say any more nonsense, I will let him destroy you." As Duan Haoming finished speaking, the old man in red raised his eyes slightly, and his terrifying energy was locked on Cloud Mountain. It seems that as long as Cloud Mountain says another word, he will directly take action to destroy him. After giving Cloud Mountain a stern warning, Duan Haoming appeared in front of Murong Qingshe again, looking at him with a wicked smile on his lips. The impeccable appearance, the curvy figure, and this virgin fragrance are really intoxicating. After finishing his filthy words, Duan Haoming lowered his voice and continued. Miss Murong, there has been some unrest in Tiandu City recently. You don't want anything to happen to your grandfather and father, right? You. Hearing Duan Haoming's words, Murong Qingshe suddenly raised her head and couldn't help clenching her fists tightly. This shameless scum actually threatened her like this. Hey, don't worry. As long as you stay with me and serve me well from now on, I won't do anything to your family. Seeing Murong Qingshui's expression change into a gloomy one, Duan Haoming's expression also became more and more lustful. As he spoke, he even approached Murong Qingshe step by step, raising his hand to touch Murong Qingshui's chin. You're dreaming. Seeing that Duan Haoming's finger was about to touch her, Murong Qingshe burst into cultivation at this moment. He stomped the floor directly and shot towards the depths of the Chamber of Commerce. Still want to run? Seeing that Murong Qingshe did not accept the threat, Duan Haoming's eyes flashed with a cold light. His cultivation level also exploded at this moment, and his big hand grabbed Murong Qingshe directly. The more Murong Qingshe resisted, the more excited he felt. When he was captured, he wanted to take a good look. How loyal can this wealthy young lady be? A sudden scene. The expressions of many people in the Chamber of Commerce hall changed, but no one dared to stand up and stop him at this time. Although Cloud Mountain wanted to go up and help, but he was locked tightly by a strong man from the Universal Truth Realm, and even if he was worried, he couldn't help at this time. At the age of 18, he has reached the second level of spiritual aperture. It is indeed a rare supreme grade cauldron. Feeling the aura of cultivation surging from Murong Qingshui's body, Duan Haoming's words echoed in the hall with excitement. From now on, you are my young master's man. But just when Duan Haoming's words were still echoing in the hall, his right hand was about to grab Murong Qingshui's back. Suddenly there were flower petals passing by in the hall, and a cold voice echoed. Robbing a common girl in broad daylight is truly a beast of the burning flame valley. Hiss. The next moment, there was a sharp sound breaking through the air. Those petals were like magical weapons, shooting towards Duan Haoming in an instant. Young master, be careful. This sudden change caused the old man's complexion to change. The figure appeared next to Duan Haoming like a ghost, condensing into a fire attribute barrier with his wave of hands, and shook together with the petals. The terrible impact swept across like a storm, and the entire Chamber of Commerce shook violently. Duan Haoming staggered and almost pounced on a dog. The other cultivators in the hall were even more frightened and fled in panic. How dare you take action against this young master? After barely stabilizing his body, Duan Haoming suddenly raised his head and roared with rage. Just a little bit, he could catch Murong Qingshe and tear her clothes to pieces on the spot. While listening to the other party's screams, he took this woman back to process it, but he didn't expect anyone to dare to take action against him. It's your aunt. In a cold voice, several figures with snow-white hair slowly appeared in the hall. A terrible chill spread instantly, causing Duan Haoming's pupils to shrink. Girls from Wanwaman. Looking at a few familiar faces walking in, Duan Haoming's expression became very gloomy. The leader is a white-haired woman. Although I don't know her name, she should be the elder of Wanwa sect. As for the other two women, he was no stranger to them. They are all true disciples of Wanwa sect. One named Nangong Jing, Martial Dao's talent has reached the heavenly rank. He has cultivated to the 8th level of Xuandan at the age of only 23. Regardless of his talent and cultivation, he can suppress his existence. Image of Nangong Jing. The other one is named Li Wanqing, although he is only 19 years old. However, his talent has reached the astonishing heavenly rank supreme grade, and he has cultivated to the 7th level of spiritual aperture at a young age. He is the most devilishly gifted being among the younger generation of Wanwa sect. These two people are both disciples of the master of Wanwa sect. They did not expect to meet each other in Tiandu City this time. They really are enemies on a narrow road. This woman. Has nothing to do with your Wanwa sect. Are you trying to start a war by interfering? Duan Haoming glanced at the three people coldly, and shouted in a low voice with a gloomy expression. I thought that the one who came to the rescue would be the young master behind Murong Qingshe, but I didn't expect that a one woman suddenly came out. This made him feel very troubled. Chapter 67. Who said she has nothing to do with our Wanhua sect? When Duan Haoming finished speaking, Nangong Jing walked straight to the middle of the hall and stared at Duan Haoming indifferently. Then he pointed at Murong Qingshe and said in a cold voice, "She is my master's newly accepted disciple. If you attack her so unscrupulously, do you think our Wanhua sect is easy to bully?" After saying that, Nangong Jing's eyes flashed with a cold light, as if she couldn't help but take action the next moment. Murong Qingshe was confused when she heard this. When did she become a disciple of Wanhua sect? FK your mother F Ker. Duan Haoming became furious when he heard this, and uttered a curse word without thinking. This bitch was so indifferent 2 days ago. She stayed in the city lord's palace and never left the house. In just 2 days, she was accepted as a disciple by your master. Why don't you tell me, your master cured her red hair? As far as he knows, the leader of the Wanhua sect has been in seclusion for the past 2 years. It is suspected that his practice has suffered some backlash. If Murong Qingshe was really accepted as a disciple by the master of the Wanhua sect, would he be allowed to stay alone in the Xian Chamber of Commerce? If you don't accept it, let's have a fight. Hearing Duan Haoming's vulgar words, Nangong Jing frowned slightly and shouted in a cold voice. Next moment, without any unnecessary nonsense, Nangong Jing directly burst into cultivation and headed towards Duan Haoming in an instant. Damn crazy woman, your grandma's. Seeing Nangong Jing's explosive shot coming, Duan Haoming's expression changed and he retreated crazily as his cultivation level exploded. At the same time, he yelled at the old man in red. Stop her. In order to reach the 8th level of Zondan, Nangong Jingsho was 3 levels higher than him. If he fights with this woman, he can only be completely tortured. Almost as soon as Duan Haoming's words came out, the figure of the old man in red had become blurry, and he rushed towards Nangong Jing like a ghost. But also in this moment, the elder of Wanhua sect, who had been silent all this time, suddenly had flower petals flying out from around him. The whole person was like a ghost among the flowers, disappearing in a flash. Boom! The next moment, as several figures collided with each other, a dull explosion sounded like thunder. Duan Haoming was slapped far away by Nangong Jing, and almost flew out of the Xian Chamber of Commerce Hall like garbage. Han Xinyue, do you really want to start a war? Seeing Duan Haoming being slapped away by Nangong Jing, the old man in red stared at the elders of Wanwaman with a serious look. Let's compete among the juniors. Do you need to rise to the sect? After hearing the words of the old man in red, Han Xinyue said calmly. Ever since Wanhua sect and Fenyan Valley broke up with each other 30 years ago, conflicts between the two sects have often broken out. Fights between juniors are common. But as long as there are no very serious consequences, the opponent's cultivation will be ruined, or the opponent will be blown away. The two major sects will not completely break up again. Guys, although we are all guests, it seems against the rules for you to fight like this, right? Just when the old man in red heard this, his face became gloomy and his aura became more and more violent. As a cold voice came over, Zi Luo and her protector also appeared in the hall. Seeing that the floor of the hall was shattered, the surrounding area also looked a bit messy. Zi Luo glanced at Nangong Jing, Duan Haoming and others, and continued with a somewhat cold voice. No matter which one of you strikes first, all damage to the Chamber of Commerce Hall must be compensated according to the price today. Besides, if anyone dares to cause trouble on the Xian Chamber of Commerce's territory again, the Xian Chamber of Commerce will blacklist this person permanently. Hearing Zi Luo's cold words, Nangong Jing and others restrained their breath, and continued to attack without hesitation. You stinky bitch, I will definitely repay you for today's debt in the future. Duan Haoming stabilized the surging energy and blood in his body, shouted coldly to Nangong Jing, and then casually threw a space ring to Cloud Mountain. Let's go. Although the Xian Chamber of Commerce and Fenyan Valley are not afraid of them, they still cannot offend them. After all, the connections the Xian Chamber of Commerce has and the ability to collect resources are beyond their reach in Fenyan Valley. In this situation, it is no longer possible to take Murong Qingshe away by force. We can only wait until the auction is over to see if we can find an opportunity. Miss Ziluo, I had no choice but to cause trouble for you just now. Seeing Duan Haoming leaving with a frustrated expression, Nangong Jing turned around and said to Ziluo. It doesn't matter, I was just showing off just now. Miss Morong is a friend of an elder of my Xian Chamber of Commerce. If you hadn't taken action in time just now, I'm afraid we would have encountered a lot of trouble. Ziluo waved her hands after hearing this. What happened just now? Cloud Mountain just sent her a message. She didn't expect that some things she arranged for the auction in the backstage of the Chamber of Commerce would have such a change in the Chamber of Commerce Hall. It seems that she was a little careless for a while. Fortunately, nothing happened to Morong Qingshe, otherwise it would be difficult to explain to Xiao Chen. Morong Qingshe would like to thank you all for your generous help. After Ziluo finished speaking, Morong Qingshe saluted Nangong Jing and others. If these people hadn't taken action today, even if Ziluo could come to stop her later, she would have been molested by Duan Haoming. Therefore, Nangong Jing and others took action in time to preserve her innocence. So your name is Morong Qingshe, which is quite a nice name. Li Wanqing looked at Morong Qingshe with some curiosity, looking at the other person's plump and proud features like hers. A look of surprise immediately appeared on his face. What an exquisite beauty! Not only does he have a special pure yin physique like her, but his appearance and figure are not inferior to hers at all. If she can really be accepted as a junior sister, then her ranking will not be the smallest. Image of Li Wanqing. My name is Nangong Jing, this is my junior sister Li Wanqing, and this is Han Xinyue, the elder of Wanhua sect. After Li Wanqing spoke, Nangong Jing also gave a brief introduction and stared at Morong Qingshe with burning eyes. Miss Morong, you have some kind of special pure yin constitution, are you willing to join my Wanhua sect? Although my master has not yet left seclusion, I can represent my master by accepting you as a registered disciple. When my master comes out of seclusion in the future, I will formally worship her as my master. After saying these words, Morong Qingshe was slightly startled, and the surroundings fell into deathly silence. Ziluo looked at several people with strange eyes. During Xiao Chen's retreat in the past 2 days, she also saw how extraordinary Morong Qingshe was and also extended an invitation to him. However, she was rejected by Morong Qingshe, which made her feel a little regretful. Unexpectedly, Wang Waman also focused on this body of pure yin. Qingshe appreciates your kindness. It's just that Qingshe has vowed to follow Mr. Xiao throughout her life, so she can only disappoint a few people. Morong Qingshe shook her head when she heard this and refused without any hesitation. In this life, she only belongs to Xiao Chen, and she will not leave unless the other party sternly expels her. What? After hearing Morong Qingshui's answer, whether it was Nangong Jing or Li Wanqing, they couldn't help but widen their eyes with a look of shock on their faces. Wanwaman, however, one of the apex-level forces within the Great Qian dynasty, is still a sect composed entirely of women. With a prominent reputation in the Great Qian dynasty, it is the sacred land that countless women dream of cultivating. Unexpectedly, Morong Qingshe refused without even thinking, and on the premise of becoming the disciple of the sect master. Chapter 68. Miss Morong, are you sure you won't think about it again? After feeling very puzzled in her heart, Nangong Jing asked again. I've made up my mind and I'm really sorry. Morong Qingshe shook her head when she heard this, without any wavering on her face. This life. It would definitely be her greatest honor in this life if she could always be by Xiao Chen's side. Who are you talking about, Mr. Xiao? After hearing Morong Qingshui's unwavering answer, Li Wanqing asked curiously. This was a beautiful woman who was no weaker than her. What kind of man could she be that could make her fascinated? Master Xiao is a handsome and remarkable being. Morong Qingshui's face was filled with admiration and happiness when she heard this. Even her eyes became blurry as she spoke, like an infatuated girl who fell in love. Ahem, Miss Morong, let's go inside and talk. Ziluo on the side saw Morong Qingshe like this and saw many people talking in the hall, so she immediately interrupted her fugue with a dry cough. After saying that, Ziluo walked into the Chamber of Commerce first, and Morong Qingshe also came to her senses. Seeing that Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing both looked puzzled, she couldn't help but blush, and immediately followed Ziluo's footsteps. The other side. Duan Haoming walked out of the Chamber of Commerce with a gloomy face and looked inside the Chamber of Commerce with a stern look. Wanwaman, when my father comes back from the endless desert, I want you little bitches to surrender under the crotch of Burning Flame Valley. Duan Haoming couldn't help but reveal a ferocious look on his face when he thought of his father, Duan Yantian, taking two of the celestial human realm powerhouses from the Burning Flame Valley to the endless desert to conquer a cluster of thousand-year earth core fire. If his father can successfully capture strange fire and successfully refine it, he may become the strongest person in the celestial human realm. By then, besides the old immortal who has reached Saint Realm, who else will be his father's opponent? And Wanwaman, it will become their furnace cauldron in the Burning Flame Valley. Brother Duan, is everything going well? When Duan Haoming's expression changed in gloom and uncertainty, Yang Xiao and his party also came over at this moment. It's so smooth. Hearing Yang Xiao's words full of hypocrisy, Duan Haoming felt like he had been stepped on. He shouted angrily with a cold voice. The girls from Wanwaman are here early and late, but they have arrived at the Chamber of Commerce at this juncture. You must have all seen it just now, why didn't you help me stop them? If the girls from Wanwaman hadn't appeared, he might have been able to kidnap Murong Qingshe. When the time comes, it is a foregone conclusion that the flower will bloom with two petals. What can the Wanwaman do to him? I didn't expect the people from Wanwa sect to appear. This can only be said to be a variable. When Duan Haoming reprimanded him angrily, Yang Xiao was not angry, but said in a solemn tone. Murong Qingshe was able to escape for a while, but not forever. Brother Duan has no chance. As long as we can capture her family. FKU. Before Yang Xiao finished speaking, he was interrupted by Duan Haoming. Do you really think that I am an idiot? Now that bitch has been discovered by the people from the Wanwa sect, she will definitely be taken under the Wanwa sect. Maybe she will be the disciple of that old bitch Luo Lingshuang. You asked me to kidnap her family now. Do you want Fenyan Valley to start a war with Wanwa clan, right? Besides, the Murong family now has a strong man from the Universal Truth Realm. How can such a being be kidnapped so easily? After coldly reprimanding Yang Xiao and spraying him bloody, Duan Haoming left directly with the old man in red. Yang Xiao was left stunned on the spot, his face instantly turning livid. You, what did you say? You had a physical problem before, which caused you to have red hair and an unknown dye. Was it Mr. Xiao who cured you and allowed you to achieve your current level of cultivation? Listening to Murong Qingshe talking about what happened between her and Xiao Chen, Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing couldn't help but widen their eyes. I didn't expect Murong Qingshe to have such a past. The two of them, one has the Xuanian Ice spirit body, the other has the extreme Yin Heaven spiritual vein, both have very powerful pure Yin physiques. But they are not like Murong Qingshe, who will suffer from the backlash of the original Yin Qi and their fate is unknown. And when the physique is activated, the cultivation level will be improved. But it is far less exaggerated than Murong Qingshe, who directly upgraded from the body tempering realm to the spiritual aperture realm. The opponent's physique should be more advanced than theirs. Well, Sa Qingshe swears, as long as the young master doesn't dislike him, I will definitely follow him. Murong Qingshe nodded when she heard this, and replied firmly. It seems that Mr. Xiao is really something extraordinary. Seeing Murong Qingshui's appearance as an infatuated girl, Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing also became interested in Xiao Chen. Where is Mr. Xiao now? Can we see him? After a moment of silence, Nangong Jing asked. Of course, she didn't have any bad thoughts about Xiao Chen, but she wanted to get through Xiao Chen, the young master. Successfully persuaded Murong Qingshe to join the Wanwa Gate. After all, as soon as Murong Qingshe activated his physique, his cultivation reached the second level of spiritual aperture. If you can become a disciple of Wanwa sect and practice diligently in the future, you will definitely achieve celestial human realm. The Wanwa Gate can also become more powerful. Master Xiao is in seclusion. You will naturally see him when he comes out of seclusion. Before Murong Qingshe could reply, Ziluo suddenly spoke at this moment. Well, this is Mr. Xiao's wing. The group of people happened to pass by the VIP room area. Ziluo pointed to one of the rooms and said. Boom. Also at this time, almost as soon as Ziluo finished speaking and Nangong Jing and others looked over, a roar suddenly broke out in the wing. A terrifying cultivation aura erupted into the sky in the wing. The pupils of Zi Luo, Nangong Jing and others shrank sharply, with disbelief on their faces at this moment. This is the aura of the 9th level of Xuanden. How can this be? According to Murong Qingshui's story, Xiao Chen obviously only has the cultivation level of the 7th level of spiritual aperture. How can he now burst out with the aura of the 9th level of Xuanden? Could it be that Xiao Chen had been hiding his cultivation before? Thinking of this possibility, Zi Luo's heart was filled with panic, and she looked into the side room with trembling eyes. At only 18 years old, she had broken through to the 9th level of Xuanden, the same level of cultivation as her. You must know that her martial Dao talent has reached a high heavenly rank, and she has been vigorously cultivated by Xian Chamber of Commerce. Only after reaching the age of 23 can one break through to the 9th level of Xuanden. Xiao Chen was 5 years ahead of her. What kind of monster was this guy? Miss Murong, Miss Ziluo, are you sure that Mr. Xiao inside is really only 18 years old? When Zi Luo was so frightened that her legs became weak. Nangong Jing, Li Wanqing and others on the side were also horrified, and some of their faces turned pale, and they all asked in disbelief. He cultivated to the 9th level of Xuanden at the age of 18. Looking at the great Qian dynasty for thousands of years, which prodigy can be so evil? Young master, there is no need to lie. He is really only 18 years old. Zi Luo was a little unsure when she heard this, but Murong Qingshui, who was beside her, replied with admiration on her face. The man who can pull her out of the abyss, his light is destined to be impossible to cover up. This is the charm of Mr. Xiao. Chapter 69. Revolving Pill 9th Level Realm. In the wing, while everyone outside the room was horrified, Xiao Chen slowly opened his eyes at this time. Unexpectedly, with this improvement in soul quality, he not only transformed into a Bodhi-enlightened soul, but also unexpectedly received an epiphany experience. Through unconscious cultivation, his cultivation level was actually promoted to the 9th level of Xuanden. But the biggest gain this time is not just the improvement in cultivation. When Xiao Chen observed the patterns of heaven and earth through the transformation of his soul, he also created his own divine ability based on the 5 elements' true essence. 5 elements killing technique. It is composed of 5 divine abilities. Once integrated union, it can create both yin and yang. When practiced to the extreme, it can shake the world. However, this divine ability is still in its infancy and needs to be continuously improved in the future. By the way, I wonder if the system can be completely upgraded. When the thought came to an end, Xiao Chen asked immediately. Ding. Unless the divine ability technique created by the host can be completely reproduced, the system cannot be directly upgraded through the host's soul memory. After hearing the system's answer, Xiao Chen had no choice but to give up. If you want to imprint divine ability on a scroll or jade slip, in addition to powerful soul power, you also need to practice this divine ability to perfection. He had just created this divine ability and could not reproduce it yet. It seems that we can only deduce it to a certain level by ourselves first, and then reproduce it and let the system help upgrade and improve it. It's time to go out. I wonder if I will miss the auction during this retreat. After suppressing the thoughts in his heart, Xiao Chen calmed down his breath. This epiphany felt like it only lasted a short moment, but how much time had actually passed? He is also difficult to judge. Well, is there someone outside the door? After standing up, he sensed several breaths outside the wing, and a look of confusion appeared on Xiao Chen's face. With so many people standing outside his door, could something happen to Xian Chamber of Commerce? When the thought came to an end, Xiao Chen frowned and came to the door, then opened the door. Several faces with shocked faces, but all of them were beautiful and had their own styles, came into Xiao Chen's eyes. Young Master, Master Xiao, Zi Luo, Nangong Jing and others, who were in shock, were startled when they saw the door being opened. Is he Mr. Xiao? He's quite handsome. Looking at Xiao Chen, who was as young as herself, Li Wanqing's face was full of curiosity, and she even felt eager to try. It seemed like he wanted to go up and pinch him. Look at this man who has cultivated to the 9th level of Xuanden at the age of 18. What kind of heavenly materials and earthly treasures are he made of? Martial Dao's talent is so abnormal. You have something wrong. Looking at the group of supreme-grade beauties in front of him, Xiao Chen frowned slightly and asked with some doubts. Except for Zi Luo and Murong Qingshe, he didn't know any of the other white-haired beauties. Are you Mr. Xiao? After Xiao Chen finished speaking, Nangong Jing took a deep breath to steady her mind, then walked over to Xiao Chen and bowed slightly. My name is Nangong Jing, and I am a disciple of the master of Wanhua sect. These two are my junior sister and junior uncle. The reason why we are standing here is all because of Miss Murong. After a brief introduction, Nangong Jing got straight to the point. He explained to Xiao Chen everything about wanting to bring Murong Qingshe into Wanwaman. So, we would like to ask Mr. Xiao to persuade Miss Murong that joining the Wanhua sect will be absolutely harmless to her. If no one teaches her well, I'm afraid her talent will be buried. After saying that, everyone looked at Xiao Chen eagerly, while Murong Qingshe was a little embarrassed. This was her own decision, but she didn't expect it to disturb Mr. Xiao, but she caused trouble for him. So that's what happened. After hearing what Nangong Jing said, Xiao Chen suddenly smiled lightly. Whether Miss Murong wants to enter Wanwaman to practice or not depends on her own decision. Although I'm kind to her, I can't force her to make a decision. Murong Qingshe has a Taiyan Xuanxia body, which is a rare saint rank physique and will be able to break through to the saint realm in the future. He was not stupid enough to push it to other forces. It would be troublesome if something unexpected happened. Mr. Xiao, Miss Murong insists on following you. She is undoubtedly burying her body of pure yin. If she can enter the 10,000 Flowers Gate, the 10,000 Flower Gate will not only protect her from thieves, but also fully discover her pure yin physique. Frowning, Nangong Jing still refused to give up and still wanted to persuade Xiao Chen. As long as the other party can open this golden mouth, Murong Qingshe will definitely respect Xiao Chen's opinion, and it will be easy for Wanwaman to take him under his wing. You said that Wanwaman can protect her from thieves. I agree with this. But if you say that your Wanhua sect can fully discover her physique, I don't agree with this. Xiao Chen smiled lightly when he heard this. After saying these words, the expressions of Nangong Jing, Li Wanqing and others immediately changed, and they all stared at Xiao Chen unkindly. Hey, how do you talk? Our Wanhua sect is one of the 5 apex-level forces of the Great Qian dynasty. The entire sect practices extremely yin attributes. There are several celestial human realm experts inside the gate, all of whom are top experts with pure yin physiques. How dare you say that our Wanhua sect doesn't have the ability to fully develop her physique? Hearing Xiao Chen's words, it seemed that he looked down on Wanwaman. Li Wanqing on the side immediately put her hands on her hips and said to Xiao Chen with an annoyed look on her face. It would be somewhat reasonable to say that the herds of animals in Burning Flame Valley would not discover the body of pure yin. But if you say that Wanhua Valley cannot discover pure yin physique, isn't this questioning a chef's inability to cook? The Wanwaman technique is incomplete. The more you practice to the late stage, the more obvious the disadvantages will be. Use the identification function to check the basic information of these people, Xiao Chen continued speaking calmly. For ordinary women, practicing this kind of technique will only cause the yin qi in their bodies to stagnate. As a result, I have irregular menstruation and my hair gradually turns white. And they will lose their fertility, gradually lose interest in men, and become what ordinary people call a stone girl. I heard Xiao Chen say these words. Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing's pupils couldn't help but widen. It was obviously the first time they heard such outrageous remarks. Han Xinyue on the side suddenly changed her expression after hearing this, and her energy was locked on Xiao Chen. Boy, you actually slandered the inheritance of Wanhua sect. As the words fell coldly, it seemed that if Xiao Chen dared to talk nonsense again, she would not be able to help but take action directly. Elder Han, young Master Xiao is the honorary elder of our Xian Chamber of Commerce. Your sudden behavior will scare him. Seeing that Han Xinyue was stimulated by Xiao Chen, Zi Luo couldn't help but speak at this time. What? After hearing Zi Luo's words, Han Xinyue's expression changed again, and she looked at Xiao Chen in disbelief. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen, who is so young, is actually an honorary elder of the Xian Chamber of Commerce. His status is much higher than hers. You don't have to be so extreme. I'm just telling the truth. Seeing Han Xinyue's reaction, Xiao Chen was not angry, but continued in a calm voice. You have been practicing the inherited skills of one woman for 46 years. From the beginning, you just had menstrual confusion to later, painful menopause. Now there is a lot of yin energy condensed in your lower abdomen. Not only will you feel pain in your lower abdomen late at night, but you will even have a backlash of yin energy once a month. That feeling is like someone having a 1,000-year-old ice pick stabbed into your perineum. It's enough to make you, a strong man in the universal truth realm, feel worse than death during the torture. Chapter 70. Boom. After Xiao Chen said these words, Han Xingyue felt like thunder exploding in his mind. His pupils also contracted violently, and he looked at Xiao Chen in horror. All right. Whether it was the number of years he had practiced the technique or the hidden root of his body, Xiao Chen was absolutely right. If it weren't for the first time she met Xiao Chen today, she would even suspect that Xiao Chen had been treating her like an adulterer for a long time. Just by looking at her, you can see so many problems. Who is this Mr. Xiao? Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing on the side were collectively confused at this moment. Although they know the inherited skills of Wanhua sect, because it was born out of an incomplete holy art and cannot truly perfect the core of the technique, there will be some drawbacks after practice. I didn't expect that so many problems would arise after practicing to the late stage. They may even lose their fertility and their interest in sexual intercourse between men and women, which their master has never mentioned to them. As for you two, you both have special pure yin physiques, and you haven't been practicing for a long time. So at present, you two only have white hair, and each menstrual period is chaotic and accompanied by severe pain from uterine cold. However, the more you practice to the late stage, and as your cultivation level continues to improve, the yin qi in your body becomes more condensed. Not only will you be like this elder, you will have to experience life worse than death once a month. Even because of the special pure yin constitution, yin qi will become yin evil after excessive condensation. Afterwards, the personality will become a little cold and extreme, and there is a risk of death if it goes too far. Seeing the horrified looks on their faces, Xiao Chen glanced at Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing, and continued to add in a calm voice. And Miss Morong's pure yin physique is more advanced than the two of you. Once you practice the inherited skills of your Wanhua sect, although your early stage cultivation will improve by leaps and bounds, there will definitely be backlash in the late stage. Even after she cultivated to the celestial human realm, she would become possessed or die suddenly if she was not careful. Hiss. After hearing what Xiao Chen said, Morong Qingshe, Zi Luo and others couldn't help but take a deep breath. They didn't expect that Wanwoman's technique had such big drawbacks. I originally thought that after practicing the skills in Fenyan Valley, yin deficiency and yang excess would accumulate fire poison. Without a gentle woman, she would have to endure the torment of burning desire. This is already a big disadvantage. I didn't expect that one woman's inherited skills would have such big drawbacks besides turning my hair white after practice. It sounds like the two extremes from Fenyan Valley, which makes people feel unbelievable for a while. Xiao, Mr. Xiao, can you see these problems? Is there a way to treat us? As the storm surged in her heart, Han Xingyue was no longer as cold as before, but instead felt a kind of respect for Xiao Chen. After taking a deep breath to calm down, she asked with a trembling voice. The sequelae of the exercise have been tormenting her for decades, and every attack in the past few years has made her worse than death. If she hadn't cultivated to the 7th level of universal truth, she would already have extremely strong willpower. I'm afraid that my character will completely change under this kind of torture. If Xiao Chen could cure or relieve her pain, she would even give up all her wealth. Image of Han Xingyue. There is indeed a way. After hearing Han Xingyue ask this question, Xiao Chen's mouth curved slightly. He said as much. Naturally, Han Xingyue and others had to ask this question so that he could harvest Wanwoman's resources in the future. He even brought the entire 10,000 flowers sect under his crotch. Bah, he brought them all under his command. Is everything the young master said true? After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Han Xingyue was immediately overjoyed. Even Nangong Jing, Zi Luo and others couldn't help but widen their eyes. But don't be too happy yet. Seeing several people looking at him with excitement and surprise, Xiao Chen didn't hide anything at this moment. I can only help you relieve this pain at the moment, that is, repair the hidden wounds left by the backlash of yin qi on your body, and restore your fertility. As for completely solving this hidden danger, we still have to start from the root cause, that is, your inherited skills. If you are willing to hand over the core skills to me for viewing, I can pass them back to my master and ask him to help deduce the shortcomings. In this way, as the technique is completely perfected and you can perfectly control every ray of yin energy in your body, you can completely eliminate this sequelae from the source. The repair function can only repair physical wounds, but cannot directly correct the true essence. Therefore, Xiao Chen could only take a roundabout way. He could help these people repair their bodies first, and then perfect the exercises to solve the hidden dangers. Of course there are benefits to this. After all, every person he repairs will have a contract secretly planted by the system. If he could help everyone in the Wanhua sect repair their bodies, wouldn't the entire Wanhua sect be under his control? It's exciting to think about it. Need to hand over the inherited skills. After listening to Xiao Chen's words, Han Xinyue, Nangong Jing and others, everyone was stunned on the spot. Kung Fu is the core inheritance of a sect. If it is handed over to outsiders, it may destroy the sect. I am just telling you, I am not asking you to do this. Seeing the changing expressions of Han Xinyue, Nangong Jing and others, Xiao Chen smiled lightly and waved his hand. The bait has been thrown. As long as you can keep your composure, there will always be fish taking the bait. Master Xiao, inheriting the skills is not something I can decide. I can only report it to the sect masters and the others to make the decision. But if the young master can alleviate this pain, Xinyue boldly wants to ask the young master to help. After a moment of silence, Han Xinyue gritted her teeth and said. After saying that, Han Xinyue took out a Na ring and then handed it to Xiao Chen. This is a bit of my net worth, please don't dislike it, Mr. Xiao. Xiao Chen can help Murong Qingshe solve her physical problems, and maybe she can really help her repair her physical wounds. If the physical pain could be relieved, she would suffer less torture in the future. Well, since you have said this, I will take action for you once. Xiao Chen didn't refuse when he saw this. After putting away the space ring, he said calmly to Han Xinyue. Come in with me. As the group of people walked into the private room, Xiao Chen asked Han Xinyue to lie down on the big bed without any unnecessary nonsense. Next moment, Xiao Chen's cultivation suddenly exploded, and he created a series of seals with one hand, and his whole body was surrounded by runes. Then, after making some pretense, he pressed directly on Han Xinyue's lower abdomen and at the same time issued a repair command to the system. Ding! The system has deducted 18,000 points and is repairing the hidden injuries of the character Han Xinyue. Although Han Xinyue's cultivation reached the 7th level of universal truth, because the sequelae were not fatal injuries, not many points were deducted this time. And as the system prompts sounded, dazzling white light also erupted from Xiao Chen's body. Han Xinyue felt a mysterious force rushing in from Xiao Chen's right hand and surging back and forth in her belly. That unprecedented warmth was accompanied by a strange feeling. Her body couldn't help but tremble, and she let out a cry of surprise. Everyone in the room, hearing this seemingly lustful cry, the atmosphere instantly became a little awkward. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.